it's me, Mand, your favourite ADHD auntie. Behind me there's some hops growing on my fence. They are to be used for beer at some point. Oh, hello Nimbus. Yeah, typical. Oh lordy. What? I was trying to eat some ciabatta with some German sausage in it earlier, and these guys would not leave me alone. Anyone would think they never got fed. Come on, do one. There we go. Right, now, what I wanted to talk about today is a subject that I'm actually really concerned about. You know how they say that Britain always follows the US, and in quite a few situations, you know, whether it's cultural or political or religious or whatever it is. The sad thing is that in America, and particularly Texas at the moment, it's got some terrible family planning laws, abortion laws, whatever, that are going through the papers, the statutes or whatever you call it. And one of those where the whole thing overlaps is reproductive health and trans health, because it all has to do with somebody's right to have autonomy over their own body, okay? And sometimes people get treatment isn't because just of a fad, it's because they really need it, and this obviously gets overlooked by a lot of commentators. But one of the things that... Dom, come on. Ow! Oh, he's really bony at the moment. I need to get him looked at. One of the things that really deeply worries me is the access to reproductive health care, gynecological health care, anything to do with your bits and pieces, you know. Doesn't matter what gender you are, you're going to be affected by something like that at some point in your life. And when commentators talk about young people taking hormones for, you know, female hormones, male hormones, whatever it is, and they say, nope, we're going to have this cut off, you're not allowed to have it until you're 18, we don't want to give it to you as a kid, and things like that. What they don't realise is that this means that a lot of kids who are not just suffering from gender dysphoria and all of those things, but suffering from genuine health problems, are also going to get caught in this net of ignorance and politics, because they need access to hormones and they can't get it, and through no fault of their own, they might have health issues way apart from anything that is deemed political, that they need these things for. And I'm worried that they're going to get denied that because of the whole row about trans issues and things like that, which I do think that if you're going to go down that road of medicalisation and you get therapy and things like that, because this is a very complicated issue, yeah, I don't think they just give hormones out to kids willy-nilly. And this is my story about when I got hormones, and that has absolutely nothing to do with transitioning, because back in when I was growing up in the 80s, such a thing was never heard of. That's not to say that, oh, when I was a kid this thing was never talked about and therefore it shouldn't be talked about now, but then therefore it's bad. I'm not part of that group, okay? I'm not part of that conservative, you know, mommy knows best group, not at all. But I need to say this, that you can get hormones for lots of different reasons, and it's nobody's business. And I got sex hormones when I was 15, because when I started puberty, it was pretty hellish, and not only did I not like what was happening to my body, and I couldn't tell anyone at the time because nobody ever talked about that, but I got the most ferociously bad periods, and I'm talking vomiting, diarrhea, pain, cramps, just not being able to get out of bed at all. And my mum was not the most supportive of people, but even she saw that it was a problem. And she said, well, what are we going to do? And I was like, okay, right, we'll go to the GP. I did not want to go to the GP. I did not want to go to the GP. And I did not want to go to the GP with my mum. And that was what you had to do in those days. if you were under 18, you had to go to the GP with your mum and get, their permission, basically, to put you on the pill, Dom. And so it wasn't something that I like to talk about, because the pill is basically, everyone, if people think you're on the pill, it means that you're sexually promiscuous. And that wasn't what it was about for me. It wasn't about sex at all. I was really socially awkward, not very good looking. I was fat. There was no way I was going to, shag around anyway, even if I wanted to. But I mean, like, I'm not slut shaming, whatever. I mean, but yeah. So I got put on the pill at 15, and a lot of people think that was shocking. But when I did, and I could control my periods, it was such a relief. It was like the whole slate was wiped clean. I could have 3 weeks guaranteed of, normality, and then a week of quite a light period with virtually no pain at all. And to think that this is going to be denied for people with a womb, females, whatever you want to call them, males, females, people, whatever, people with uterus, whatever, people with tubes, to think that they're going to be denied that because some idiots think that they're following the God's word, or they don't want progression or whatever. It's nothing to do with progression. It's to do with being a decent human being and having empathy with people who have got difficulties, and whether that be trans difficulties, whether that be sexual health difficulties, whether that be anything. It should not all be lumped together in one thing. We should take it by case basis, and just not like broad brush everything and say, no, none of you are getting hormones. None of you. If you're under 18, none of you are getting hormones. It's just not right. It's not fair. It's not humane. And Nimbus, there's food down. I don't just like. As soon as I get the bloody camera out, there we are. Come on. And mind, these are probably the same people who say they won't get their cats done. And actually, if you get your cats neutered, it gives them a much better quality of life. So, let's extend the same quality of life you give to your pets as you give to human beings, please. We're not. It's not a Handmaid's Tale. We're not all here to pump out babies. Biologically, yeah, right. We've got the capability of doing it, but it's not a. We've got the capability, but it's not compulsory. That's what I'm trying to say. And I never wanted kids, and I just think I couldn't trust myself with them, to be honest. I really couldn't. I'm too much of a kid myself. There's no way I could ever cope with that, ever. I mean, I love working with kids, don't get me wrong. I like doing workshops with kids, but I am basically a big kid, which is why I get on with them. So if I had to have like one 24/7 or whatever, something went wrong, I would have no idea how to deal with it. I even get stressed when these guys, these kitty cats get ill. So kids, oh my God, no way. And now I've gone through the menopause and I'm not even having periods anymore. I'm just saying, thank goodness for that, because like that risk has been taken away. And I just want everyone to feel that kind of like freedom to make their choice. And if you want to have breast reduction, if you want to have a mastectomy, if you want to have your tubes taken out, if you want to do any of that, fine, do it. We're human beings, we're not animals. We're not bloody lab rats and rabbits and shit like that. We can do things with our lives that isn't pumping out babies. We can contribute to the world in other ways than just contributing to overpopulation, basically. So that is to say that if you want to have kids, right? Just know that is a responsibility. But if you don't want to have kids, don't have kids. But don't judge other people for wanting to do with their bodies what they need to do, especially if they're in pain. They don't want to talk about it, they're too uncomfortable, and they're taking hormones because they have to. Whether it's psychological pain, whether it's physical pain, whether it's anything else. It's none of your business, and it's none of the politicians' business. And I'm so worried that it's getting to a point now where politicians just want to tick boxes to get voters, and it's just going to spiral out of control, and it's going to be a popularity contest, and everyone's going to be like, wants to be Katie Hopkins or Piers Morgan, and that, so that they can, everyone wants their slice of the popularity pie, and to be disingenuous and negative and disgusting just to get famous, and then influence a shit ton loads of people with your pig ignorance and make it really hard. It's just not on. It's not on. It's disgusting, and I really hate the way the world is going at the moment. It's so regressive. I thought it was bad growing up. I saw things getting better, and now I see things reversing. And honestly, it's disappointing. It really is. I really fear for our young people. I want them to grow up in a better world than I grew up in, where you can talk about things that and you don't have to be ashamed of them. So yeah, I took sex hormones at 15. What are you going to do? Right, there we go. That's my 2 pennies worth for today. It's a lovely sunny evening here in England. I've just cut some grass, and I'm going to go in and have some courgettes fried in butter and herbs that I've grown in my vegetable patch, and turn off the sprinkler, which you can probably hear, before I totally drain the whole aquifer of the southwest, and feed these cats before they decide to eat me. And have a lovely day wherever you are, and take care, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you very much. Like, subscribe and all that jazz, and if you want me to have a Discord or a Patreon or anything else, you're interested in me going live and talking shite for whenever, hours and hours of your time, if you've got nothing better to do, then if you want to do, if you think that's a good idea, put it down in the comments below. Any other comments, like questions about hormones, questions about, well, anything really, just drop them in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye.